A question I get asked nearly all the time is, which camera should I go out and buy? I want to make cycling and bikepacking films like you do. Which camera should I get? And the answer that I always give is going to be the wrong one, because for me, the cameras that I want to use have to be the best quality possible. So they are not practical. They're very big and heavy, like the camera I'm filming on now, and the drone that I take basically takes up a whole pannier. So it's really not practical and not suitable for most people. Historically, the answer was always go out and buy a GoPro or any other action camera and you're good to go. But there are so many new companies out there, like Insta360 for example, which makes it difficult to choose the right camera. And cameras have come a long way to the point where you can get some really high quality footage from a small package, so you don't need to go to the extremes that I do. So in this video, we're going to look at two of the most popular cameras, look at the pros and cons of each, and hopefully at the end of this video, you'll have a better idea of which sort of camera you should be going for. So which cameras are we going to look at? We're going to look at the GoPro Hero 13, a traditional stabilized action camera that people have been using for years. And we're going to look at the Insta360 X5, which is a 360-degree action camera. We'll look at the specs and the pros and cons of these types of cameras. And at the end of this video, you should have a good idea of which one is best for you. Let's start with the GoPro Hero 13. This is the top of the range flagship action camera from GoPro. And for many years I had used GoPros and they are really good quality. They're very easy to use. I've got loads of different mounts. I've taken them all over the world and they've never really let me down. This particular camera shoots in 5.7K up to 60 frames per second, which is ideal for most scenarios. You can also shoot in ultra slow motion with this at a slightly lower quality level. But for what most of us cyclists and bikepackers will be doing is just sticking it on the bike or sticking it on a chest or helmet mount, is absolutely perfect for that. At one point, GoPro was the only brand that you would go to buy action cameras, but loads of other companies have started flooding in. And quite frankly, a lot of them have been making better products, so GoPro really have had to up their game, to the point now where you can get removable lenses, the audio quality is better on this now, the battery is much better than it used to be, which we'll talk about, and there are loads of accessories that you can buy as well to enhance the GoPro and make it better for you. Currently this costs around £300, which is about the mid-range when it comes to cameras. Obviously you can spend thousands of pounds if you want to, but equally you can buy some pretty naff cheap ones out there that aren't very good. So that is kind of what you'd expect to pay for a decent quality action camera. Let's start with the pros, and the first one is it's super easy to use. So if you've had no experience doing filming, you're not very confident editing, this is a good starting camera. It's literally just point and shoot, and you will get some decent footage out of it straight out the box. It's also got really good stabilization. If you turn on HyperSmooth, it is incredibly good, and you can attach it pretty much anywhere on the bike, and the footage will look good. It's also really robust. I mentioned I've taken this all over the world and I've had no issues with it. The only time I've ever broken a GoPro was about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's because I hadn't screwed the mount on properly and it fell off my bike, landed on the tarmac at pretty high speed and it smashed the screen. But the camera still worked, I just needed to sort the screen out. But other than that, they have been absolutely fantastic. But what about the downside? The fact that this is just one fixed angle camera means you have to angle it correctly, and chances are you might miss things if you're not quick at pointing it. You also get the same repetitive POV footage. It's either on your bike, on your chest or your helmet. There isn't really much scope for other things unless you've got loads of different adapters with your mini tripods and stuff, which I used to do in the past. It's usually just going to be the same sort of footage, and the danger there is if you are just going out and filming everything on your ride is that it gets a little bit boring and people won't actually want to watch your films. What about the X5? Again, this is Insta360's flagship 360-degree camera. Now, if you don't know much about 360 cameras, you don't actually have to use them just for 360-degree footage. So if that's something that you're a bit concerned about, you don't need to worry. You can just use one of the lenses and basically use it as an action camera, but it does obviously come with that second lens, meaning there are lots more options and loads more possibilities, which we're going to talk about. Let's start with the basic specs. This is an 8K 360 camera, meaning it has a much higher resolution than the GoPro. It also has a bigger sensor. It has a 1/1.2 inch sensor, meaning it has better low light performance than the GoPro. So if you are going to go out and film in the dark or in dusk conditions, then this camera would probably be the preferred option for that. However, it is more expensive. This camera just by itself costs £400, £100 more than the GoPro, which is quite expensive, but again, it is somewhere in the middle of the camera range. It's not in the thousands and it's certainly not a cheap camera. So that £400 is reasonable. It does come with way more features though, so that extra £100 might be worth it. Let's look at those now. Let's talk about the pros. This is a 360 camera, meaning it captures everything around it. You don't have that issue with the GoPro of it only shooting forwards, meaning you have to get your camera in the right frame. You can literally just leave this on your bike or on some sort of pole and it will record everything, meaning you don't have to worry about capturing the perfect shot. You can also do cool flyby shots where the camera pans and follows you, which you can't do with the GoPro. I'll also say that the microphone on this is really good. In fact, this is the best microphone on an action camera I've ever had. Even without a lav mic like I've got on here, you get really good audio. I actually forgot my lav mic when I went to Arctic Finland and I took this camera with me. I just had it on the bars and I spoke to the camera, and usually you'd have awful wind noise, which is something that GoPros do suffer with. But with this, absolutely no issues whatsoever. It's basically 360-degree sound, so it basically captures the bits that you want and not the bits that you don't. Still got a few hours of light. Fingers crossed I'll make it before it gets too dark. And while we're on the subject of microphones, if you're wanting to go out and basically do vlogs where you talk to camera, then I would go for this over the GoPro. The quality of the mic on that is not great. It's really difficult to get good quality audio of your voice, especially if you're out riding, without going out and buying a special lav mic and the media mod, which costs more money. With this, pretty much straight out the box, the audio is really good. Things have got a lot worse. The weather is atrocious. It's been absolutely chucking it down. I'm completely soaked. For me, that is primarily what I use this camera for now. Just stick it on the front of the bike. I can capture stuff at the front of stuff that I'm seeing, but also if I want to do some quick pieces to camera, I can just flip it around and the audio quality is really good. You can also get really creative with this, which I'll be honest, it's not my forte, but I have seen loads of people on Instagram and other places doing some really weird and wonderful shots with the 360 camera, and it does look really good if done properly. So bottom line here, if you're only in the market for one camera, you may be just getting started, this does have way more options. So if you're wanting to be a bit more creative, it might be worth going for this. I do want to talk about battery, because the battery on this has been incredibly impressive. The GoPros have historically been rubbish when it comes to cold conditions, and they have got a lot better, I must say, since those days. But I went to Arctic Finland and I had some real issues with the battery. The battery life on this X5, even in these freezing conditions, I'm in Arctic Finland at the moment, it's -20, is superb. The GoPro has died several times. I keep having to put it in my pocket to try and warm it up, even though the battery's got power in it. It just does not like the freezing temperatures, where I've been really surprised. I thought this one would struggle, but it's been absolutely fantastic. So that gets a win from me. Moving on to the cons, and there's only really a couple with this sort of camera. The first is that it does take a bit of time to learn. With the GoPro, you just press a button, record, and you're good to go. You don't have to do much in the way of editing. But with this, to capture the perfect shot, it does require you taking time to actually understand the Insta360 Studio app, and you can do that on your phone or on a computer, which is what I prefer to do. It does take a bit of time, but I do feel that that's probably worth investing in, because at the end of it, if you get it right, it does look better. And one of the only other cons is if you don't keep on top of the cleanliness of the lens, you might find when you're doing some pan shots or some 360 footage that you'll start to see specks of dirt on one side of the lens, and it'll be obvious when you've transitioned if you don't keep them both clean. So that's just something to bear in mind. And the final con is more of a taste/software thing, which I don't really like, is that if you rely too heavily on the 360 camera and start doing weird and wonderful fisheye effects with it, it can become a bit disorientating to the viewer. My recommendation is just to focus on the simple shots. Try not to overdo those weird and wonderful effects. Having said all that, in the last year I have found that I've gravitated way more to the 360 camera than I thought I would. Because of the simplicity of just leaving it on the bike, I can film what's in front of me, turn it round, make sure I'm in the frame, and also speak to it and get decent audio. It has just been the go-to camera for most of the time. But that's my preference. Which camera should you go out and buy? Let me break it down so it's really simple. If you've just started, you have no idea about editing, you just want something that's easy to use, point and shoot, press a button, and it'll last you a long time with good stabilization, then the GoPro would be the one to go for. If, however, you're wanting to get slightly better quality footage, you're going to be doing some pieces to camera, or you're wanting to actually develop your filming skills and create better and better videos, maybe even grow a YouTube channel like I've been doing, then I would go for the X5. It gives you way more options. It is harder to learn learn, but once you have learned that, the footage will be way better than if you just use a standard GoPro. So basically the Insta360 is like the GoPro, but better in pretty much all areas, and it gives you way more options if you need it. So that's it, the GoPro Hero 13 versus the Insta360 X5. Which is best? Well, it kind of depends on the sort of person you are and the sort of films that you want to go out and make. If you have any questions about filming in general or these cameras, stick them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.